Oh my God! That's just too dirty!
Damn. This shit's fire.
This is a fucking banger.
Ladies and gentlemen, cats, snakes, dogs, chicken, elderly people, workers, and twerkers.
Damn.
Turn it up!
I don't give a fuck. It's the Ruckus. What the fuck you expect?
I body slapped my wife, my nigga.
This guy here.
So
Guess he got jokes today.
Yo, the guy
he's on a roll.
The guy comes in screaming. He's like, "You know how fast you were going? Blah, 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 blah." He's like, "Get out the car. Give me your ID." I was like, "What?" And so I give him my ID.
Damn.
And I give him my license and my veteran ID. That's when I was still in. And he's like, and I give it to him. He's like, his whole attitude changed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, his whole attitude
Great
changed.
switch, bro.
Yeah. And
Damn.
he's like, "I'm going to let you go off with a warning, so have a good day." And my girl's like, "What the heck?" My girl was in there, her cousin, and my cousin.
Because I've seen this happen firsthand.
Casey doesn't
get out of
understand.
jail free card.
Yeah, Casey doesn't understand the power of that fucking card, bro.
No, I do understand because I saw it.
No. But you thought it was because you forgot driving.
No, you were going 90. Hold on, let me do the story. You were going 90 on a 65, 95 in upstate New York, as white as a county could be. And then they pull us over, and as soon as he gives her that, he looks in the back. And I'm just gonna say somebody in the chat was in the back. It says, "Who's she?" And it's like, "No, that's my brother. He has long hair."
Oh fuck! Oh jeez!
That was hilarious, bro. Like, it makes it look like like me and Kevin were fucking trafficking this fucking child in the back. It was fucking Peter,
small white child in our back seat.
Oh shit, that is hilarious.
But as soon as he gave him the military ID, no, he's like, "Oh, I'm going back home. I'm coming from the stuff." What do you call where you're from? I don't know. Your fort?
The stuff.
The military base.
Yeah,
back from the stuff.
Your military base
and the stuff.
And all he said was
stuff. Your military stuff.
And all he said was, "Slow down. Have a good one." That's it, bro.
Can I say something to that? It scares me at the fact that both Alex and Kelvin at that moment literally were an inch away from having their lives at risk. Like that's all I can think about.
Maybe Alex, the way the guy came, but Kelvin's cop wasn't like that.
No, my cop that time
yeah.
was really chill. I've actually had more encounter with black and Hispanic cops than white cops. I probably had like two, and one of them was pretty bad. But as soon as the ID showed up, it's like Alex said, they switch real quick. Mm-hmm. Their attitude,
but you know what? That's scary, man.
Right now. Look at that army privilege.
That veteran privilege works for certain situations, and I use the fuck out of it.
Hell yeah, that's the only way privilege I got.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember the last time this was years ago. I was in Hartford. I was walking down the streets in Hartford, and for whatever reason, I was not on the sidewalk, and a cop came up to me, literally rolled past me, and he's like, "Do you want to go to jail for the rest of your life?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, right.
My man, yo.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but that shit just sounds outrageous. This guy can just pull up to you and say that shit. That shit is fucked up, bro.
No, listen, I've had some bad experiences. With cops, and he said that shit to me.
And I'm laughing
because
it's you, because you have that mama face.
Yeah. I had that
because these people just come up to you, bro. They're always looking for trouble with you, Blue. Damn, bro.
No, I get it, man. I get that shit all the time. And so he said that shit to me, and I literally looked at him and I shut the fuck up. I said, "What?" Like in my head, and he's like, "Why are you walking on the streets when there's a perfectly good sidewalk there?" And I just stared at this man, and he was dead fucking serious, bro.
Oh, of course.
And my man, I was like, so I looked at him. I hopped on the sidewalk. I shut the fuck up, and I made it home. That's what I kept thinking when Alex is telling you a story about a crazy cop, and if he didn't have his military ID,
no, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story.
No, facts.
It's crazy.
That's 100%.
But how fast were you going, Alex?
I was like 5 miles over the speed limit. That's the
I thought you were doing like 40 or 50 on a 25. That's
flying.
No, I wasn't going fast.
My car, if my car had wings, we would have took off.
Because we have to be like sometimes there's some idiots out there driving, and if you get pulled over, the cop, like if you like this, I forgot who it was this football player. He was doing like 190.
Yeah,
and the freeway, and they just told him, get the fuck out the car, and get the fuck out the car. And that's it. And like, yeah, get the fuck out the car. You're going like 3 times the speed limit, nigga. What the fuck?
All right, but here's the thing. I get speed limits and everything, but bro, if it's fucking empty, let me fucking just
190?
Yeah, fuck it. If the roadway's empty and nobody could get hurt other than myself,
nah, bro, you can't.
Let me rock.
Let me rock. That's fucking crazy.
You could do 100. You could do 100. I let 100 slide, but
I've done like 130. That's my max.
So wait, let me ask you.
You got that ID?
Huh? No, that was actually before I went into the military. I didn't get caught though.
Bullshit.
That was in the PA Turnpike.
Oh, okay.
Casey, let me ask you this question because I asked it to Kelvin, and I know y'all are family. What about you guys in your house when you was growing up? Like, did your parents or anybody in your family ever say to you like, "We're black" or "proud to be Afro"? This or did that ever come up in you guys' house? Or like, did you guys ever have conversations about like Haitians and Haiti, or was that just something that never came up?
You mean Tainos, right? For Casey?
Well, my grandfather is black.
Man, when you
what?
gonna do your fucking DNA test, man?
Who, me?
Yeah, you need to.
I need to.
You're gonna see all that Middle Eastern in your shit. Promise you. No, I'm dead serious.
Stop being racist, man. Just because
I'm not being racist. I'm not being racist.
My grandfather does not look Middle Eastern, though.
Okay, you'll see. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much. The thing is, when the DNA test is not just it's not just gonna stop at your grandfather, my guy. Relax. But my thing is, you'll be surprised how much Middle Eastern blood is in Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
A lot.
Like, it's a lot, dude. It's crazy.
A lot of my uncles, yeah, I would say like 4 or 5 of them are on the darker side. My dad is I would say, indiecito, así como like me right now. But no, we never really talked. I mean, it was more like I would be told. I would be told. Hold on. I would be told like I was Hindu, and I would be made fun of that way, como que I was Indian. And then my dad was like, "No, recuerda, like you're Latino, tú eres Dominicano. This is where I'm from." Papi always had a picture of where his house was in the middle of the mountains. And then we were going to this conversation that I walked 3 miles and stuff like this. And
the usual.
The usual.
We had to fight dragons and shit.
It was always like you're Dominican, you know. It's like, because I never got, I'm going to be honest, I never got bullied for or racism because of the color of my skin and maybe because of the way I looked. Get it? Not skin.
So like maybe like an ethnicity, like you were
colorism, not
yeah, color wasn't. I think. I mean, it's New York, so I don't think you were gonna get that much, because. So,
KC, actually, for you, question, because both your parents are a lot whiter than you are, and both your brothers are too. Actually, you're the darkest one in your immediate family. How was that? I was not
the favorite, nice boy.
Yeah, okay. Actually, are you though?
Me and Randy are similar colors. Rafi's white, but me and Randy are similar colors.
I'm sitting here thinking if you're the favorite.
No, I'm just the firstborn. Firstborn had different responsibilities and shit like that. You know how it is. I mean,
yeah,
you know how that is. But how was that growing up? Like I'm
asking because I have a similar situation where my kid's a little bit darker than I am and darker than my wife too. Trying to understand, like, was there anything different within the household for you growing up with your siblings and stuff like that? Not to say that your parents were colorist or racist towards you, but within your family itself. Well, for you it'd be a little bit different because a lot of your uncles,
a lot of my cousins look like me. So we were all Indians, like, so or brown, if you want to call it. But I don't think that I didn't see that, to be honest. I'm trying to think if maybe we had a dark cousin that like Nairobi and stuff like that. But I grew up in the teens and we never, like, it was never something like. It's crazy. This is why I'm a true believer of shit like this is kind of taught, because it's like I never really made fun of any of my cousins or anything like that. We were just cousins. ¿Tú me entiendes? Like, it wasn't nothing really. Tú sabes. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, literally, like, because though
but your family's very mixed in like
yeah,
colors.
we're super mixed.
Like you guys have a lot of like different shades of brown and white.
But Casey, you do understand how much of a, and I say this in a good way, of a privilege you have in the ignorance of not having to ever really have to deal with race, right? Like, you understand how that's, like, you never got to see racism, so
that don't happen until high school. Like I said, once I went to Trent High, it's a different story.
But that's not so much racism as it is, like, what you dealt with in high school isn't so much racism as it is just ignorance towards foreigners.
Well, if you want to call it that, that's fine.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
No,
that's not racism. That's not racism. That's not racism. Racism is
So by Trump saying that Mexicans are rapists and this and that, and they're taking our jobs, that's racist thinking.
That's being racist because he's a white man in power. Saying
but
that.
so was some white. Well, we didn't have. I'm trying to think. There was no white kids in Trent High.
There was white kids there because there was literally one white dude the entire time I went to high school there.
But I'm not letting that rock. I'm not letting that rock, dude. I'm not letting that rock. Just for the fact I lived in Lawrence and I seen all the fuck shit Dominicans and Puerto Ricans say about each other when the backs is turned, and boy, some fucking racist, ignorant shit around there. As a matter of fact,
well, that's Puerto Rican and Dominicans. That was when they were going toe to toe. That's a whole different thing we could talk about.
Like, I've seen people react when they bring like Black Americans or Black Jamaicans to like the house as their boyfriend. I've seen shit happen. I've seen.
We see it firsthand.
My mom's side of the family, and that's actually something I was gonna bring up. My mom's side of the family ain't about that shit. They do not like it, and I have a serious problem.
They don't like interracial. They don't like interracial.
They a lot of them have a problem with that. Not my mother. Interracial couples. Not my.
You know what's funny?
Not my immediate family. Not like my mother and my father. They've never had an issue with that, and they've never actually even brought that up specifically. But my uncle, I got a couple uncles that I just have a problem with because of like their thoughts, and a lot of cousins of mine that were raised over there, so they also have that fucking mentality. The ones that were raised here, you know, we grew up here, we grew up around, you know, all types of races. I mean, in all reality, mostly Black and Hispanics, because we're all from inner cities. So we have a different mentality, but most of the ones that were raised over there still have that mentality from a lot of the racist uncles.
My dad, you know, was really interesting. My dad, I remember my father, well, he's my stepfather, you know, but he raised me. I remember early on when my mom first met him, he called himself Indio Escuro. I remember at some point he was having a conversation.
Oh my God.
I've heard that before.
That's DR in a nutshell, though, right?
Yeah. So
he's like trying to find a way to not say black.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Alex, he see my father. My stepfather is, you know, dark skinned. He's from San Cristobal. San Cristobal is like, you know, nuts, all black people. And so he said that, and this was years ago. This was probably 30 years ago. And I was like, you know, 10 years old at the time. And he said something like Indio Escuro today.
That's not his fault.
But if you ask my father today, what he's like, I'm black, and my father is dare enough to say that he's either black Haitian or black from Africa, and the reason that changed is because he lived in the United States for 30 years, and he wasn't allowed to live in this like shadow of like, oh, you're Dominican. No, he was like, because he had to deal with the cops. Yeah, you know, being called a nigger for the first time, having white people like look at him in fear, and you know, started thinking about race in a different way. And I just, you know, we were having a conversation the other day, and my mom made a joke about some racist ass joke, and something about like black people, whatever. And I looked at my mom, was like, "How the fuck could you say that?" And my dad was like, he said some shit about, this is why the Haitians killed all of you in 1802. And I was like, oh,
jeez,
damn. I was like, oh shit. My father wouldn't have said that 30 years ago. But it's because you being Dominican allows you not to deal with race a lot of the times, especially if you're black.
I wouldn't say
the crazy thing,
not deal with race. I would say more that helps you ignore the actual race problems that we have in Dominican Republic.
That's another way of looking at it. Yeah.
But I've noticed this that Dominicans are going through that now, especially the Dominicans from the north that are moving to Atlanta. I already heard, I've heard the stories. I've talked to people, and they're like that when their parents go, like their old school parents, they're like, "Oh, Indio Curo, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
That this dude, like all right. So my girl's cousin lives out there, and his dad is black, but he it's like the same situation as my son, my youngest. He looks white with blue eyes, and I'm darker. And then with her cousin, he's the same thing. He's white. He looks white with blue eyes, and his dad is dark skinned. And he moved to Atlanta. The dude experienced real racism. He got the nigga wake up call. Yeah, his dad, his dad started saying he was black too. He was shook because it was a cop, and the cop was like screaming at him. Oh, and the white and it was him. It was his dad and his mom. His mom looks pura white. So they pulled him over, and he's like, he like asking him, "Ma'am, are you okay? Is he with you? Is he bothering you?" Shit like that. And he took him out of the car. I was like, for real? Yo, he was like,
see, this is the type of that escalates.
Yo, he said that his dad was so scared.
The people like escalate shit like that because I wouldn't let my wife answer. I'm like, who the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
yeah, you ain't saying that to a cop, man. You ain't saying that shit to a cop. You ain't saying that shit to a cop.
It depends, Luke.
Nah, you ain't saying my man. Listen, man, I've had plenty of negative experience. I've had plenty of negative experiences with cops. You ain't saying jack shit to a fucking cop. And I have a lot of friends who've grown up in the South. They've had to deal with racism and police and racism. And yeah,
I got pulled over in Newark Airport, and I was being told,
I'm with Lou on this apartment.
I'm not going all white on the cop. I'm saying that for you to curse the cop. No puedo hablar tuyo. Yo no voy a hablar.
No, va tu, my bad. That's my fault. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you that I got pulled over in Newark Airport because this was like 2009 when I came back from DR. And I only went to DR like the last 3 years. I was going back and forth. And at this point, I used to dress with the fitteds on backwards, baggy. Paría un vende droga, lo que sea, un reggaetonero, whatever you want to call me. Right, and I get pulled over, and not pulled over. I get pushed to the side when I come in Newark Airport, and they look at my passport like, "Why do you go to DR so much?" And I'm like, "Cause I'm Dominican, and my family's out there, and I go to visit all the time." And then he's open. He's like, "Okay, we gotta check your luggage," and I'm like, "All right, what the fuck?" Ya piensan que traigo manteca. Empiezan a abrirme la maleta, me sacan toda la maleta, y siguen metiendo vaina ahí. Y el policía starts asking me questions like the same thing. Why do you go over there that much? You sure you're not doing anything illegal? Are you bringing anything in here? Tell me now.
Yeah.
Tell me now. And I'm like, and the third time he tells me, tell me now. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? You can look at my luggage. Look, you obviously took everything outside of my luggage. Why the fuck would I bring drugs into this country and or something like that? You think I'm? And then he just looks at me. He kind of smirks. And then he keeps looking in there. And then after that, he was like, why do you go there too much again? And I'm like, my dude, I got family out there. Have you ever been to DR? Have you seen the women? And that's what I told him. And then he goes like, but cursing a cop or telling him how you feel? Again, it's a difference between telling the cop, you fucking pig, you piece of shit, you don't attack me. That's a different type of cursing.
KC, that happens to me all the time because of my name. My name is it's Alexander Mejia, and it's the same name as a narcotraficante. So every time I do international flying, like flying, I get the X every time. You get an X on your picture. You know how when they print it out to tell you which line?
But here's the thing about that, Casey, and I'm just saying this from personal experience. When you're dealing with cops, the minute that a cop stops you, he lets you know by the way he talks to you who he thinks you are. If he thinks you're white, he's going to treat you one way. If he thinks you're black, he's gonna talk to you a certain way. The minute that he talks to you, you know when and like how much leeway you have with a cop.
Yeah.
And if you're black, you have no leeway with cops. And the reason I say this is because I've never had a positive encounter with a cop where he's treated me as I've seen cops treat white people. You know what I'm saying?
No,
and I think
the one thing I've learned having cop friends, they teach you how to navigate. They even told me into my face, I'm not saying you ain't gonna you're gonna survive. I mean that you might not make it there alive, but I'm gonna give you the tactics on how to like survive when you have to deal with us. You know, and they gave me the code on how to deal with them when you deal with a cop. You know what I mean? They'll tell you automatically. They're gonna treat you different because you're not dumb. You know what I mean? Or unless you got a connection with
you're not a
family.
cop.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll tell you a story. When I was out in Georgia, we got pulled over. Me and my brother got pulled over. And my brother was strapped out there. He had his gun with him. And he got pulled over. Yeah, we're going somewhere with this. He got pulled over.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, it was like a red light. And while in the red light, he was texting. And while he was texting, we got pulled over. When he got pulled over, the cop was like, he was pretty decent. You know what I mean? He was pretty decent, but like, you know, my brother, you know, he got that real fucking New York mentality. So he's like, he got that fucking, and he's from Brooklyn. So he got that Brooklyn mentality. Yeah,
Jesus.
We're in Georgia, fucking Savannah. So he's like, yeah, I'm pulling you over because
beautiful.
It's nice. I'm pulling you over because I caught you texting. And he like, but it's a red light. It doesn't matter. If I catch you texting, you know what I mean? By the law, we're supposed to stop you. He like, are you serious? Are you? What the fuck? This is and he was like, he's about to come. I'm like, nigga. I was like, nigga. We are strapped in a fucking car. Not now. We're in the wrong. Let's eat it. Eat it and fight it in court. Cause he wanted to, he was like inches away from. And the funny thing about it, there's something about us because we already got this bad relationship with cops. We just got this thing that we don't have patience with authority. With either we're right or we're wrong.
Right.
One of the things I've learned in life, whether you're dealing with thugs or cops, you don't want to deal with somebody that got a gun. You know what I mean? Once that person got a gun, it's a chain of command.
Yeah, but it's also because like it's also because we grew up in the Northeast. It's different.
Yeah, and my brother was impatient, and I'm like, yo, just chill. You know what I mean? And to the cops' defense, he was real cool for the most part. He's like, look, you know, I could be a real dick to you, but you know, I'm not. I'm gonna chill out with you. And plus, this is the whole thing. The summertime when everybody was rioting, there was the killing that happened with the dude at Wendy's in Atlanta, George Floyd, Breonna. All this thing was happening. So I'm like, yo, just chill for the most part. But yo, like, I didn't want you to be a fucking another next Fernando Castillo. Telling, yeah, we got a gun, and then you fucking let off and fucking give us 10 to the fucking face.
We're gonna revisit this shit when you guys watch American Skin because this is really
I was gonna say
you're gonna say that right?
American Skin.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like watch it to understand because we were kind of we're talking about some of the stuff fucking there too, and it's like.
We'll bring it back up next week when the rest of us watch the movie.
I think let's watch the movie. But I will say something about him. Oh, go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I can kind of be a little smart ass with the cops.
Yeah, but that's just like the Northeast mentality, right? We're impatient. We don't like being fucking.
Nah, bro.
We don't like being fucking like sidelined.
Ask you a question on that? Peter, just a quick, do you understand like when you have you ever thought about the fact that you have some sort of privilege when you're dealing with the cops because of the color of your skin, or are you okay?
Well, Kelvin says that goes away when they see the last name, but I'm like they could think you're from Spain or something like that, or you're like it doesn't matter. Like it depends.
It's different. Spanish people look different from us too.
Yeah.
Don't even us white Dominicans. They look different.
Bro, I saw if I met when I worked at TD Bank. Shout out to my boy Brandon. I saw him. He's from Uruguay. I could have sworn to you when this guy told me, all right, let's start your training. I'm gonna take you to. I'll show you how to start your day and stuff like that. And I'm walking behind. I'm like, "Y este blanquito." I'm like, "Who's this white dude working?" Like he shouldn't be. And I was like, he shouldn't be a teller at TD Bank. You know, it's like I'm like, this is for us.
Yeah.
And then the dude ended up being from Uruguay, bro. His name is
Uruguay es diferente, loco. También tú tienes Chile y Argentina, where they're a lot whiter than even us, the white Dominicans, bro. Ellos son casi puro español.
German.
German.
Yeah, like they're a lot whiter than us.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people from Uruguay, Argentina, and Chile, and when I tell them that I'm a Dominican Republic, when I'm from the Dominican Republic, they automatically look at me as black. So it's within Latin America, the Dominican Republic, white Dominicans are considered black amongst.
Yeah, we're not white at all for white Latin Americans.
Exactly. There's levels to this shit,
and
even within whiteness.
So
there's the complexity about this shit. This is exactly what I mean about.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing, right? It's like I've said it before in a previous episode. It's the Prussian Olympics, right? So there's tiers to everything. Fucking the shade darker, the lower in the fucking totem pole you are is just how it fucking is, and it's not just here in the United States. It's all over.
Yeah,
and especially Latin America, because we're all fucking mixed in one way or another, right? That's why it's so big within all our cultures, is because we're so mixed, especially us in the Caribbean compared to South America. Other than Brazil, Brazil's very different compared to the rest of South America.
Brazil's a fucking mess. No, Brazil's a fucking mess. No. My question to you guys is, what do you think about the whole situation with Danny? What's her name? Danny Lay.
Danny Lay.
Yeah,
¿Quién es esa loco?
She's a Dominican artist or some shit like that. Like
what?
She's a Dominican singer. Primarily R&B.
So she's a Dominican American singer, but she doesn't sing.
Yes, that's what it was.
Before we continue, as a proud Dominican, I am not. If we were having a race draft right now, she can go somewhere else. Like, her music is fucking awful.
City draft, not race draft.
Oh yeah. I don't want to have anything to do with any music that this person makes.
That is horrible, bro. That is pure trash. So I don't even think we should even talk about it.
Yeah, we should.
That song is horrible.
No. I think
we can talk about the subject. We
can talk about the subject around it without talking about that fucking song.
TikTok. That's all it is.
We're not even gonna say the name of it.
Acknowledge and agree that soung's trash.
Yes.
First time we all.
I want to hear what Peter has to say.
It doesn't have to be anything because it's for TikTok.
Oh, that's fine. We're not talking about the song specifically. We're not talking about the song's fuck, I don't want to say content because we are talking about that, but the song musically, because musically we all agree it's trash and it's a TikTok fucking song. That's what it is. Now it's about the content and about the title of the song is what we're trying to focus on.
I will say this. I will make this statement. I think that it is probably the most racist song that I've heard.
Oh my God, Luke, come on, motherfucker.
12 months.
You're muted for that. It's not the most racist song out of here. Come on, bro.
Let him get his point out.
It might be the most, hold on. It might be the most trash song definitely of this year. Nothing else has to come out for this year to be trash. But
I wouldn't judge it so harshly. It's just
that song's trash, bro.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to judge the song musically because we've agreed it's not worth it. But the energy around the song ties into years and decades and centuries of privilege and racism towards dark-skinned people, and colorism, and she's using that and throwing it in the face. Because here's the thing: if you're a person who has light skin, and you really do understand the pain of being dark-skinned, like what dark-skinned people have to go through, you're not going to throw that in their face at all. You're going to be very sensitive to that. And especially if you consider yourself either black or black adjacent. And the minute because being a red bone or a yellow bone in the black community isn't necessarily something that light-skinned people are proud of, because it's a product of rape. Like, yellow bones and red bones are products of rape. And historically speaking, dark-skinned black people have fought back against light-skinned people by questioning their humanity, by saying you're light-skinned. It's saying, like, you're not fully one of us. So there's all these different dynamics that are at play there. And she's playing on all of this to her benefit, which is fucking ugly.
And horrible.
And horrible. Like, I'm yellow bone, I'm red bone. The other thing is that, obviously, looking at her parents' pictures,
there have been other songs like that too.
And Dominicans don't use that.
Yeah, Dominicans don't use that language first. Actually, no, we do, but we say it differently. For example, we say Indio claro, habao.
Yeah. But in Spanish, I never heard it in English. And
like hueso rojo, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Hueso amarillo.
Yeah, we don't use
I'll say it. I'm the one to say it. I don't know nothing about yellow bone, red bone. Okay.
I do, but
I do. I've been called all of that. Like I've been called, I don't know. I've been called all these different things. So my perspective is always very personal.
I've only usually heard it for female.
For females, me too. Yeah.
Hold on. They trying to smash? They trying to smash? They called you yellow bone?
Nah, listen, man. Okay, so I'm gonna speak on that. Just real quick. Anytime I've ever been down south, it's
US
always been very
or South America, because you've traveled the world. You need to be specific.
Southern United States, so Florida and Georgia. Anytime I've ever spoken to black women, because that's my preference, they always bring up the fact that I'm light skinned with green eyes. And the minute
high yellow.
Yeah, they say, you that type of high yellow. Oh, you got a little red in you. The minute that a woman said
that, I never heard because red bone is more for I think Native Americans, like you're mixed with Native American. And yellow bone is more like high yellow or whatever because
that song's fire by Childish Gambino, by the way.
Well, but there's also the black people who have red hair. So you have like a Malcolm X who was a black man with reddish hair. They tend to call those folks red bone as well. But anyway, just to finish it off real quick, anytime I hear people refer to my light skin, when black people refer to my light skin as something positive, I take a step the fuck back and I realize what's going on. And I try not to take advantage of that situation because I understand that they're liking light skin as a product of them not liking black skin. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's this really fine, like this really specific idea. And I know a lot of dudes in my position, they'll be like, yeah, I'm light skinned and I'll take advantage of it. But as a Dominican, which we already have these race problems coming into black culture, appropriating black language like this, racial language, which is complicated. Even the word nigga. I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary. That's not our word, and it's an ugly word to use. But we come into this culture and then we say, "Oh, I'm high yellow," and then the way that she says it, like I want to big up my light skinned people. Like who the fuck says that? It's like if a white person says, "Oh, I want to big up my white people," we'd all fucking go crazy. We'd all go. We'd fucking burn the shit down. And that's the light skin privilege. Like she's a light skinned woman. She's a white woman who's passing as light skinned.
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
And it's ugly. And then she's rubbing it in the face of a lot of dark skinned women. And that's my read on it.
But then that's where
I can see that.
But I have an issue with the song. Go ahead, Kevin.
And again, bringing it back to my son, because they even in one of the videos that we watched is her parents are whiter than her. They're saying that she has a tan and everything. All right, fine, whatever. But for example, in my situation, my child's darker than both me and my wife. Does that not make him then if light skin, like a light skinned person?
Well, here's the thing. You light-skinned as a tonality and then light-skinned as a racial ethnic classification are two different things. So your son could technically be light-skinned because he literally has on the color scale a lighter complexion of black. Or maybe it's a way to point out that he has black features and he's just lighter. But is your son part of black culture and a black ethnicity? And
he's 5.
If he is,
hold on. It's like when you go that route, like culture, it's like remember there was a whole movement of there is about black kids who say, I hate when people say I talk white. That whole
I heard about that.
And they're not they're not hard hip hop.
The weird cousin one. The weird cousin one.
and you gotta be careful because that's a whole community of kids, black kids who feel that way. Like, wait, I have to listen to hip hop and dress in Jordans to be black. Like, no, I'm just black.
That's extremely racist. That's extremely racist for you to say that for you to be black, you need to fit into this box that white people create for us. So
I think, that's the thing, right? I think Casey's saying it from a black perspective, from inner city.
They get told that all
Latinos.
The
they get told that the suburban black and Latino kids.
But we need to parcel this out, and we need to understand what culture and ethnicity are. If you are a black American or a black Dominican and you've grown up your whole life in these communities develop certain norms, ways of talking, ways of thinking, and ways of ideas. If you live in that community, you're by nature going to reflect these customs and norms. The minute that you leave that community and you're not talking like they are, you're kind of an outsider, right? And that's where we have to parcel it out. So if you're black and you've lived the black experience in America, people who are black in Georgia, they're going to understand black people in California, in Massachusetts, in Maine, because they've lived the shared experience. The minute that you don't live that experience, there are going to be people that are going to say, well, you're not black. I think what's specifically saying is that you're not sharing in our black experience, and they don't finish the phrase. Not fair. And that's not fair. So it's an incomplete sentence. They're saying, oh, well, you don't sound black. What they actually should be saying is that you're not sharing in our experience. You've had a different black experience, which is also valid, and that's fine. Because black people in Georgia have had a different experience than black people in New York, but there's similarities, and they've shared in that experience. But if you're a black kid who grew up in Beverly Hills, you had a different experience. Carlton is a great example.
Bingo. I was about to say that.
Until he goes to Philly.
Yeah,
but
so that's what it was showing too. The thing is, the Fresh Prince was from Philly. He was from the hood, and then Carlton was from Bel Air. He grew up in bougie. He grew up bougie. You know what I'm saying? So it showed two different sides.
They have an episode of that.
Of the spectrum. They showed two.
They had multiple episodes on that.
No. But I'm saying like this: there are two sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You have poor black kid, and you have rich black kid.
Yeah, inner city.
And it shows that you're not just one thing. You could also be this.
Is that
exactly? You can be in the middle. You can be in the middle.
So who's more black?
For her, go ahead.
Go ahead, Casey. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for the since we were talking about Danny Lee, I don't know. That they're saying that her parents aren't black. She didn't grow up in a supposed black neighborhood or whatever the case may be. She's just trying to also trying to make money off black culture, and which is so on and so forth. Which is 100% agree. But then my thing is and when you look at Kelvin's son, let's say Kelvin in the future, Gavin becomes a rapper, and they say, well, he didn't grow up. He grew up in Levittown in Pittsburgh. I don't know, a white Pennsylvania suburb or whatever. And this, that, and the, but then what? Gavin's gonna have to show them a picture of his grandfather and his grandfather's dad.
Yeah, he is.
Yo. Perfect example. Dave Chappelle.
I don't agree with that.
No, I said no.
Wayne Brady.
I was talking a little bit. When he went on the Dave Chappelle show, and
one of the funniest kids. One of the funniest kids of all time, by the way.
Yes.
I'm Wayne Brady, bitch. To this day, that makes me cry.
Yeah,
that was a funny
Casey, were you expecting that?
Hell no. When he said, "Is Wayne Brady gonna have to smack a bitch?" I was like, "What?" I loved it, bro. This is why I love Dave Chappelle.
That's why Dave Chappelle is one of the greats, because he wrote that with Neil Brennan, and they who.
No, and Wayne Brady too. He was okay with I want to talk about.
Yeah. But that was genius right there. It showed us through comedy. They basically put the medicine in the candy.
And the funny thing about it, prior to that, I used to watch the show he had. Whose Line Is It? And I love Wayne Brady in the show, but my boy used to hate Wayne Brady, and he out here because my boy at the time, he was like fucking military is a fucking understatement. Because he went to Merrimack College, so forget about it. It was fucking, he went through hell and back in that school, so he just became like the angry black dude. So he used to just like go at it, Wayne Brady. He used to go at him, and I used to defend him. And he's like, yo, you defending a guy who's like tap dancing for white people, and he doing this and the third. But when he did that fucking Chappelle episode, yo, he took everything back about him. He like, I get it now. I get it. I understand why.
No, we do that, Mike. Mike, we do that. I think we do that a lot. And I think part of
code switching.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is we're defending existence of our cultures when we see people that look like us who in media don't act like us. We're like, yo, what the fuck? Like you look like me. Why aren't you acting like me?
But it's making things a monolith, isn't it? Like, isn't that the issue, right? We keep on and we keep on arguing against this in all of our communities, Blacks, Hispanics. We keep on saying we're not a monolith. We all have our different cultures.
But here's the thing.
And guess who gets to not be a monolith?
Oh, white people.
Man.
Yeah. They can be whatever they want.
Yeah. But here's the thing. And it's a great point, Calvin. There are varied experiences to being Black and Latino and all of these things, but it's making a connection with that community. Even if you don't like bachata, because I know a lot of Dominicans who were born and raised in Santo Domingo who've never left, who don't speak any other, but they hate bachata music. They're like, you're never gonna say to that person, you're not.
Get him out. Nope. Put him on a raft. Fucking send him off somewhere. I don't know where, but just send him.
What the fuck is this?
No, merengue, salsa.
What merengue out there? Like,
it hasn't been merengue. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the only people who are doing salsa right now really is Dominicans. So it's like, don't get me. Okay, that's another conversation. But I understand.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that person can still be Dominican, even if they don't like these things that are traditionally associated with being Dominican, as long as they're making a point of saying, listen, I'm Dominican, I just don't like this. And I think the problem that we have sometimes is that when we see Blacks and Latinos in the media, they don't reach out to us in a way that is substantive to us. They're just like, oh, I've got a Dominican last name, I'm Ramirez. And then they just don't really connect with us. And, they don't talk about their shared experiences, and they whitewash their story so that they can fit better into Hollywood. And that shit's frustrating. Because you're like, yo, my man, you come from the same hood as I do.
Yo, anybody remember that video of that reporter that he was like reporting the news and the mosquito came? And, he switched it quick. He's like, motherfucker, fuck this shit, I'm done.
But he's a news anchor though, so that's
but that's the thing, bro.
But you saw the switch. You saw the switch.
But that's the thing.
What was that movie that what's this dude's name?
While you look for that, I'll make a comment. I just think we need to understand that a lot of the people who are in Hollywood are trying to survive, and code switching is a way for them to survive.
I gotta watch it.
Sorry to bother you, but with Lakeith Stanfield,
I gotta watch that.
Oh yeah.
I heard about that. I wanted to watch that. I heard about that.
I'm sorry that they turned into. Oh, I can't even say. I can't even say
the code switching on that.
Shut up.
No. It's on Hulu, by the way.
Oh, and she's in it too. The chick from Thor. Yeah. I'm definitely watching this shit.
Yeah,
I love her.
It's a good movie.
In case KC, I just want to make one comment. You were talking about Kelvin's son, if he becomes a rapper, and is he going to have to show papers when he gets older? And my answer to you to that is yes. And the reason I say this is because Kelvin has explained to us, it's not that he identifies as white, but he's on the lighter side of the spectrum. And he's had to deal with life as that. And his son and his family, they've never delved into Black Dominican roots because you guys don't have that in your family. But the minute that
he does, he will, because of his grandfather and his great grandfather. That's what I'm telling you.
But listen,
he has lineage.
But that's three generations removed, and Kelvin's son isn't growing up in America as a Black.
That's 2 generations removed.
2 generations removed. But Kelvin's son is not growing up like my daughter, Sophia, is not growing up as a Black woman at all.
We don't know. Okay, I was gonna say he's not growing up as a Black. You don't know how he's gonna be. We don't know where this country's going. Like if Trump would have been here for another 4 years, we don't know what school he's going to and how kids are gonna go there and parents and shit like that. This is what this is. Go ahead. Finish your point.
I'm just saying. Listen, even if I identify as Black and I've grown up as being identified as such, my daughter, and even though my father is Black and my grandmother's on both sides are Haitian, all of that, fine. My daughter never grew up with that. And so there's no way that she can ever claim, other than just having genetics, like that 10% or 30% black or whatever. She's never been treated as black. She's never participated in.
Is her mom white?
Her mom is mixed. I mean, she's got white skin, yeah, but she's mixed like a lot of Brazilians. She'll identify as white. And my daughter's probably being raised as a white Brazilian woman. So if my daughter 10 years from now comes up and be like, Dad, I'm black, I'm going to look at my daughter and be like, no, you're not. Like, how the fuck are you black? She's like, well...
That's where it's interesting, Lou, right? So for me...
Are you black?
For me, it's
different.
What? I'm black and white.
Does she have, like...
More black,
but I'm saying, like... But for you to tell her that, does she have, like... Again, it's your daughter, and I mean, I haven't seen pictures of her, but does she have, like your type of hair, like curly, like... hair?
Yeah, my daughter has curly hair. Like, that's the thing. I have, black features.
His, profile pic.
Hold on a second. She's actually calling me right now. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. But Kelvin, you were gonna say something about
No, it was actually a question for Lou. So for me, it's different. Because I'll bring it up to everybody else here. So for me, it's different because I grew up in an inner city. Right now, we live in the suburbs. My kid's gonna be going to school as probably one of the few darker skinned children, whereas for me it was opposite. I was one of the few lighter skinned kids. So where in the line does that fall then in his blackness, right? Because he's gonna be treated different.
That's what I'm telling Lou. It's like,
I think you play it by ear. You talk to him. I think you talk to him and just play it by ear. Like, you'll be like, yo, sometimes this gonna happen. It might happen.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have that experience either. Right? Because I didn't go to school in the suburbs. So I went to school in the inner city. So in the inner city, we grow up as we're all, we all the same. We all come from the hood. We all dealing with the same bullshit. Ain't shit to eat at home. Our parents are never there because they're working. Whereas
block of cheese in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So out here is very different.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what to tell my son to expect at school because I don't know what the fuck it's like out here.
Go ahead, Mike.
The weird thing about it, I was hoping Luke could get to the conversation, so I'll repeat it to him again. Like, I got one of my best friends, like he's in the suburbs, and we had this conversation, like, as though, because he wants to take his kids to like that's a little bit more diverse, but it's hard to do that when you're in a white neighborhood and you're like the only you can count the black kids are in school. So it's like married to
have him chill with his cousins. Have him chill with his cousins.
Yeah, things of that nature. But even that, they're gonna probably, depending on their situation, they probably might give them a tough time because they're the quote unquote the bougie side of the family, like the hood. You know what I'm saying? So you got to deal with so many different dynamics. So
funny how
we know what it's like when we
in the hood, be the bougie one.
They're not the bougie one. It's this comic joke we do. Whether you're Spanish or black or whatever, when you're in the hood and then you leave and you go to the suburbs, you got a different.
Moving to Jersey.
I actually have a similar. Huh?
Yeah, but and they were like, he made a good point. And it was like, he made a compelling point that it was like, wow, I didn't even look like that. I take my kid to a quote suburbs because I want to get a better like my wife and the culture. So whether you gotta
education is about the zip code.
It's about the zip code. Because it sucks because white people could just be white people, but we gotta learn how to be street smart and learn how to deal with white world. So it's like a headache. And like he's going to something interesting because it's like they gotta beyond multitask. They gotta go to school with white people. You gotta deal with the Spanish side of the family, and you gotta deal with the black side of the family. So you got 3 different cultures you gotta deal with it. You know what I mean? Coming from that world. So, but he made a compelling point, and it's like. He understands like of a battle because there's kids that are minorities that go to, they kind of like lose themselves because they get into that culture. And I know that myself because there were certain dealt with, like just got with white people and all they knew is like white people and they don't have any black friends and it's like that shit is fucking wild.
My thing was pointing out how quick Twitter went and found pictures of this chick's dad and stuff like that. But it's like I'm saying, what I use Kelvin's son as an example is like maybe 10, 15 years from now, the kid, we don't know where rap is going to be 10, 15 years from now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be lighter than what it is now. But you know the route that we're going. But I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. So, but for him to be like, oh no, who are you? Who is this new Gavin? Yo, he got bars, but who is this kid? Where's he from? Oh, his parent. He was in the military. His dad. Look at this. He's white. His mom is lighter than he is. Then he got to come out of here and be like, this is my grandfather, by the way. Like that shit is whack to an extent. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like that shit is whack. Like you don't even know. Well, I mean, again, they found out her life quick. I don't know this chick. Again, I don't know. So I don't want to defend her, but I'm just saying how quick people jump on to negate the fact and call people out without even knowing. Because how about if she pulls out a picture of her grandfather being black? Now is that going to be an issue? Like,
two things about that. I don't like that because the Cuban nigga that's with the proper, he pulled that crap like, I'm black because I got a fifth grandmother that was enslaved. I'm like, shut the fuck up, nigga. You haven't been black since fucking 3 centuries. You know what I mean? I'll deal more with your official parents than your grandparents, your great grandparents. I'll deal with the two dynamics, mom and dad. All that other shit is other way. But if I do my lineage, I got some fucking Native American army nigga, and I don't got time to go that deep. I'll just do it with my 2 parents. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'll go with that. And another thing before you cut me off, another person. Now that you mentioned that, I guess when you that thing about the perfect person that could use an example is Logic, because he went through some hell. I was gonna bring it up. He went through the hell being black and white, and he damn near don't look. He don't even look like fucking Drake. You know what I mean? He look like a white dude with blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like Joe Budden. I remember Joe Budden used to give him crap. You know what I mean? Because he used to like supposedly like code switch or whatever, with him being black and white or whatever. But it's like you could look at that kid and you could tell he's like he's been through hell and back because of his blackness. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like a quote unquote black freak or even a biracial kid. You know what I mean? He doesn't look like a J. Cole. He doesn't look like a Drake. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could think of all the biracial rappers that's out there. He don't look like that. He looks more like a Post Malone or Eminem. That's what I mean. So it's like he's the perfect example. Like, well, I'm black. Look at my dad. You know what I'm saying? And he don't even use the N-word because he know what kind of flack he.
That's different. That's a little different. Like
he says he doesn't use it in public. He uses it in private because he understands.
But it's the perception. The perception because we play that game. As long as you have something. But because of what he looks like, by the book, he could say it because he has a black dad. But because of what he looks like, he won't want to risk it.
That's exactly what he says. Because in public, he to the public he's not black because of his appearance. Yeah,
and that must suck. That
has to fuck that. Yeah. And that's the thing with all it fucking. Like you have no control over it. Your parents don't have no control over how you're gonna come out because it's all fucking. It all comes down to genetics and. You're gonna be what you're gonna be depending on how much of one side you get than the other, right? None of us can control it.
Wait, Logic's brother's so cracked? Oh, come on, bro. I'm looking at this Wikipedia page again. I don't know. People change shit, so I'm just reading it. Logic maintains accurately knows that manufacture and produce crack cocaine. Like his brothers produce and distribute crack cocaine addicts all over the block. I was like, yo, bro, you want more credit to this shit? Like, can the guy speak on it? I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's a podcast. It's The Real. They had an interview with him. Like, he has a very interesting story. Even the way, like, his mom treated him terrible. You know what I'm saying? He had a bad relationship with his mom. And I know people that worked with him when he was on Def Jam. He has a bugged out story, man. So just like within that circle, want to see him win because of his come up. But yeah, his lifestyle's pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? He really went some hood rough shit.
He's still not that good of a rapper though.
Let's not do that either. He could spit. Can I go to a full album? Probably not, but just like the bars. You know, he could freestyle off top.
I don't know about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could do that. He got decent flow. He got the speed and acting like fucking Eminem.
I just think he's boring.
Because his first album was pretty good. The first album.
Yeah,
I like that album.
That was all right. Yeah,
again, you don't have to be the greatest.
Like he can spit. He can spit. He's like a fucking.
Is he all right? He's all right.
He's all right. He's passable.
Yeah,
we'll leave him like that. He doesn't suck. How about that? He doesn't suck.
Yeah, no. I would never. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he sucks. He's just we'll leave it there.
I think he's boring. I personally think he's just a boring. Like,
so you put him up there with Tupac?
Shut your mouth, first of all.
No, hold on. Because Brutus finds Tupac boring.
I don't
That's
find
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, somebody here said that Tupac's boring.
I don't think he's boring.
I
don't think anybody said that, but
maybe it was my subconscious.
I think.
Oh, you think he's boring? Go ahead, speak on it.
Speak on it, my man.
How you feel about Pac?
Yeah, compared to Biggie.
Go ahead. We letting you down that fucking on that hill.
You can down that hill.
Go down this hill. This is his Selena revenge.
I'll roll out the red carpet for you, but I ain't standing there with you.
we just got canceled for the 10th time tonight.
No, of course.
Tupac is boring.
I didn't say that. I thought you said that, and I said maybe.
I think Tupac is. I will say this. I did say this. I think that Tupac wasn't.
His music though, because I love well, let's get that straight.
No, listen. Let's be honest. Tupac was not the best rapper. He had like these structures and he repeated a lot of his verses, and he just wasn't really clever with his like Biggie was. However,
I just can never
technical. He's not technical.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can never get past it. You know what to do in the middle. I'm sorry.
I think his pen game. I think his pen game was great. His technicality
and his content
his technicality was where he had it. Yeah,
listen, he was. I remember this interview, and Mike is gonna know the interview. He said this, and I think it's really true. He said, "I'm not gonna change the world, but I'll guarantee you, I'll influence the person who's gonna change the world." And I really do think that a lot of us growing up, he was a really important figure. So I think his influence is much more important than whatever he did as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could overlook his whack, technical flow, whatever, for the fact that, the man influenced a lot of us. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's just more value. I think he's a lot of
niggas. There's a lot of Tupac babies out here. You know what I mean? I could argue that Ja, DMX, who else could throw in there? Probably M. To an extent, probably Jay and Nas. You know what I mean? Just of the fact they try to influence, and even from the song they bit from him or sample or a quote they took from him. There's a lot of Pac babies. Even now, there's there was a rapper there. Was it Boosie who named his shit like Boo Pop?
The next Tupac or some shit like that.
Yeah. You got a lot of people doing that stuff.
Yeah, I don't listen, man. I gotta be honest. I put Pac lyrics wise or whatever, maybe a top 30.
El Diablo.
Yeah, technicality. Listen, man.
You wouldn't put him in your top 10 at all?
In terms of technical, like
as a rapper.
Are you talking about overall?
No. Oh, overall, like he's in my top 5, of course.
Okay. But is he? Did you name him in your top 5?
I did.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I did. He was in my top 5. Because I'm looking. I
think you were like the only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did.
I thought you put MC Hammer.
That's right.
I got Hammer in my top 50. No lie, I got him in my top 50 or probably top 40.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hammer's no joke. Hammer's not. He put a lot.
Hammer
of
gets shit.
Work. He put a lot.
Hammer gets a lot of shit.
Off influence, I got him in my top 40 or top 50. Fuck the bars.
That's always an issue when people start paying bills, because it's the same thing like Nicki Minaj. Like, a lot of people, as soon as in the beginning, I was like, yo, this chick is spit, and she's always impressed me. And then people, as soon as she started doing these pop songs, like, she went pop. It's like, bro, she's paying the bills, my guy. Can't she pay the bills?
She kept on paying bills forever, though.
But you know what I'm saying, KC? This goes back to what
she fed us little bits and pieces.
But this is what I was saying before about what we look when we look at our people on the big screen. Like, we got to cut them some slack sometimes, because they're playing the game to do exactly what we need them to do. Like, they're feeding families.
To pave the way.
I look at, for
putting
example,
a lot of people in position.
I look at a guy like LeBron James. I've been critical of LeBron James for a lot of years, especially with his social stance. And
I remember
when he said, but when the whole China thing went down and he didn't say nothing about China and whatever. And then I think it was Michael who said this. Mike said this, or somebody else said this. He's like, yo,
I just feel he should have stayed out of it, though. That's just me.
It doesn't matter if he had an opinion or not. LeBron James
he should have
I know what you're thinking. Where can I find more? For full episodes of the Ruckus Podcast, you can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and your other digital streaming services. The Ruckus, it's organized chaos. Don't worry, we're working on getting Mike a better mic. Get it, Mike? And don't worry about it. You'll get it eventually.